All right, good morning, guys. Thank you for attending our first webinar. I'm Christopher WYCOCO. I'm the CEO and founder of my company, WYCOTAX. It's an all-year-round, all-in-one tax payroll bookkeeping service solution. All right, good morning, guys. Thank you for attending our There, this is my first time using Zoom, so bear with me, but I'm getting used to it. Okay, just to let you know, everybody's mute. And if you have questions, our presentation right now is on Facebook Live. Any questions, comments, or regarding the topic, feel free to type it on the chat box. And at the end of the presentation, we will try to answer as much questions regarding this webinar. Okay, so we are in we have two offices from Harlingen and the other one is in Brownsville. We are an all year round, all-in-one tax payroll bookkeeping service solution. The disclaimer, we just have to let you know that this presentation is for educational purposes only and not legal or tax advice. Each client is a case-to-case basis. Now, if some of you still have more questions, the good news is we provide 30-minute free consultation specifically on your case. Just text your name at 956-425-WICO and we will be happy to answer all your questions pertaining your individual case or even if it's a business matter regarding tax. The company WYCOTAX has been established on 2015. Like what I've said, we are an all year round tax payroll bookkeeping service solution. We are here after tax season because we're also doing bookkeeping, LLC filing, and payroll. Our company has more than combined 20 years experience doing our service. And some of the credentials that I do encourage, don't just take my word from our performance, but also we have some publications from different newspapers, online. We have been featured with channel TV like Channel 4 and Channel 5. Feel free to look us and read our reviews. I'm the CEO, like what I've said. My credentials, I'm a tax professional and I'm also an IRS certified acceptance agent. And we resolved more than $321,000 of audit cases from individual, small businesses to corporations. And as of the moment, in South Texas, we have the highest rated review. Our total review is 707 combined with Facebook and Google. And in return, we are giving back to the community. I would like to present anything that is related to the tax because I believe that the highest expenses that everybody will incur is paying taxes. Now, the more that we educate our clients, we are taking more like a proactive approach rather than reactive. We try to educate and provide it as free as much as possible, enable for you guys to know what the basic. Okay, because the number one problem with the audit, it's because either you're using the wrong form or you are using the wrong numbers for your deductions, for your credits, and for your expenses. Now, because this is just timely relevant, what we're going to talk about is regarding the coronavirus tax relief. The coronavirus tax relief, or we call the COVID-19, the IRS last week, the current administration has signed the tax relief that will cover multiple benefits, especially if you are a business owner. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about, this is our first week, is the tax deadline change. As all you know, the tax deadline will be this April 15. But due to the pandemic situation that we are facing right now, the IRS extended this to July 15. But the question is, what are the forms or the deadline changes, and also what are the tax deadline that remain? Now, what we are going to cover, these are the topics. We're going to talk about the 6 tax deadline changes. At the same time, we're also going to talk about the 7 tax deadline that remain, the frequently asked questions, and at the end of the presentations, we are going to read the questions on the comment section, both in Zoom and on Facebook Live. What is the coronavirus tax relief? The COVID-19, the IRS has established a special section focused on steps to help the taxpayers, business, and others affected by the coronavirus. What does it mean? Whether you are an individual, a family, filing your tax return, an LLC, that you are a sole proprietor, or a C corporation, a trust, there are specifically filing deadline that the IRS gave you. We will start with the basic. The filing and payment due dates. For all of you who haven't filed their 2019 tax return, this is what you call the 1040 or the 1120 for corporation. Before, the deadline is what? April 15. But now, you are already extended to file it on July 15. Which means you still have from April, May, June, July, you still have 3 months to file your tax return. Now, on top of that, aside from the filing, the interest and penalty for your 2019 tax return will also be moved from April 15. Now it's going to be moved to July 15. But questions, do we have to do anything? And to answer your question, you don't have to fill out any form. This is automatic extension that you will benefit from without submitting any form. Okay? So from April 15, it is now July 15. Now, the other main one is the 2020 estimated tax payments. What is an estimated tax payment, Christopher? If you are filing every year and you keep paying taxes more than $1,000, for example, 2019, you paid $5,000. For 2018, you've been paying more than $5,000 or $10,000 every year. As long as it is more than $1,000 that you've been paying for the past consecutive years, then you have to make a 2020 estimated tax payments. How do you do that? Whenever you do your tax return for 2020, you have to attach the 2020 estimated tax payment form. The only good news about this one, the first payment usually is going to be deducted on April 15. However, the first payment will not gonna start on April 15, but it is going to start on July 15. Okay? But pay attention about this one. There is a bad and good side about this. If you will notice, the second, third, and fourth payment, they did not change the date. It's still gonna be June 15, September, and January 15 of 2021. The first payment and the second payment, they are just 1 month apart. Which means your second payment will come first on June 15 before your first payment will kick in on July 15. But I strongly believe that this date will still change because this relief was just approved last week, and any moment from now, it has been ongoing changes and some amendments on the tax code. I do believe that they might adjust this as well, in able to help everybody to make a reasonable time frame on paying the 2020 estimated tax payment. Now, if you are going to get a refund for this year. And if you are not going to pay more than $1,000 of tax penalty, you don't have to do this. Okay? It's just filing the simple tax return without the estimated tax payment. The filing payment due dates for the fiscal year on April 15, these are the other ones that also move. When we say fiscal year, your calendar, you're not using the accounting on the calendar year, but rather you are using fiscal year because maybe your business is seasonal. If the due date falls on April 15, then all of this is moved to July 15. Also, the other one would be the gift tax. The gift tax filing, I just want to remind everybody that the gift tax, it is not being submitted by the recipient. It is the one being accomplished by the sender or the giver. We have a client last month. Her dad gave her $50,000 as inheritance cash. Okay. Now it's a form of a gift, but she asked us, Christopher, am I going to file the gift tax form? The question is no. The one that's going to fill this out is the giver or the person who gave the money to the recipient or to the tax filer. Then they have, before it was April 15, now the deadline of filing of gift tax was also moved to July 15. And number 3, we also mentioned about the installment payment due date. The only one that changed right now is the first quarter payment of 2020, which is moved to July 15. Okay, what's next? The filing and payment contribution to the IRA. If you want to minimize your taxes and you want to park your money on your retirement, you still have the chance to contribute on your IRA. This is individual retirement account. They will give you until July 15 to contribute, enable to minimize your taxable income for 2019. Therefore, you still have until July 15 to add more contributions to your IRA. And the qualified retirement plan contributions are also moved on July 15. These are for employers who are giving contributions to their employees for their retirement plan. Now, the filing payment due dates that were not moved and stayed the same are the following. We have number 1, information returns. The information returns are what you call the 1099 miscellaneous income. For example, I'm an independent contractor that I do construction and I have some subcontractor under me. I have to give them the 1099 miscellaneous income, or if I'm a banker, I have to give 1098 mortgage statement. These were due on January 31. These were not moved to July 15. They still remain the same. So for those of you who haven't give either your attorney, your tax, your accountant, you haven't issued them a 1099, that was supposed to be issued way back January 31. Now, how about Christopher? I established my business as a partnership return that we have clients that they form their business as partnership because the other one is the investor and the other one is the industrial partner who runs the business. That is a partnership return. Whether you are a limited liability company and you have a partner on your business, the form 1065 should have been filed on March 16 already. There was no extension on this form. Okay. How about the S corporation? Even you are a limited liability company, you can also be treated as an S corporation. Okay. If you want to receive a salary and if you want to be treated as an employee of your company, therefore, the 1065 and 1120 should have been filed on March 16 this year. But what happened if I have not filed that? The problem and the drawback, if you have not filed the partnership return or the 1120 last March 16, you will have a penalty of not filing on time. Just remember that this is a penalty of not filing on time and not the interest of not paying on time, because the partnership return and S corporation, they are pass-through entities, which means to say you don't pay corporate tax on that. You have to pay the corporate tax on your personal return, which is due on July 15. So the only option you have for the partnership return, if you haven't filed this, is you had filed an extension if you were not ready to file it on March 16. There are some cases. Number 3, we have an unfiled 2016 return for refund. Okay? For those people, we have so many clients, nurses, therapists, people that are high paying taxes. They were not filing their tax return on time because they're busy. Just to let you know that you still have the chance to claim your tax refund on 2016. However, the deadline for filing on this one, for you to get your refund for 2016, is April 15, 2020. And this is the best time for you to be updated with your return, because we are also talking about the stimulus checks. Any federal financial aid program that the IRS will issue will all based on how updated and current your tax returns is. Please be aware that when you're filing your return, please make sure that you have the correct routing number of your bank account if you're receiving a tax refund. If you have address, if you move to a different address or location, you need to update those numbers, because any federal grant will be based on your previous records. A stimulus check, the COVID-19 grant loan, all of those will be based on the record that they have on the IRS. But the only problem at this point, the IRS hotline is really swamped. You have to try to call. It's very difficult to find or to get hold of an agent, because they have so many things that they have to do based on all these adjustments. Okay, so that's why we are here to help for basic questions that you might ask. The other filing and payment due dates that were not moved is another one is excise taxes. These are for cigarettes, alcohol, gasoline. You still have to pay your excise tax on April 30, 2020, and together with payroll taxes, this coming April 30, 2020, you still have to submit those forms on or before the end of the month. Now, the payroll taxes, we will go over, because the IRS right now, they give credits, the payroll tax credits, but we will discuss that on the next week webinar, on the next few weeks of the webinar, because there is a COVID-19 paid related leave to employees. Now, but so far, if they don't file the leave, the paid leave for employees regarding the COVID-19 situation, you still have to surrender and pay the payroll taxes to the IRS on or before April 30. And payments can be done online. I strongly really suggest that you have to do it online. Don't mail it as much as possible. Stay home. Now, the other filing and payment due dates. We are working with some chambers, nonprofit organization like the church, chamber, other nonprofit organizations, whether you are running a sports committee, all of this, Sombrero Festival, all of those are still due on May 15. There are no further adjustment with the deadline of filing this. The nonprofit organization, you have to file Form 990 in able to file your tax return for nonprofit organization. Okay? Another thing is estate tax. This is what? Months after the death. This is usually you have to file it 9 months after the death of the person. That is the estate tax when your loved one passed away. Now we will go over with the frequently asked questions. Okay, number 1, what if I'm unable to file my 2019 income tax return on July 15? There are so many clients we have, especially the mom and pop shop, that they are not available on filing because number 1, the books are not organized yet, their payroll. For this one, what you have to do is to file an extension form. you need to file an extension form on or before July 15. Okay? Number 2, what if I already filed my 2019 income tax return that would have been due on April 15 and scheduled the payment of taxes on April 15? Will this payment automatically be rescheduled on July 15? For example, like one of our clients, she's a nurse practitioner. She already filed her taxes on March 15. Now this time, on top of that filing of 2019, she already scheduled like 5,000 every 3 months, beginning April 15, a payment until the end of the year, quarterly. The thing with that, you won't be able to reschedule it on July 15. It's still gonna follow its original payment plan. Number 3, does this relief apply to state tax liabilities? No, this relief has nothing to do in the state level. Well, number 1, we don't have state income tax. But what are the state tax liabilities we have here in Texas are what? Sales tax, you still have to pay that on time, online. And then we also have franchise tax for companies that are limited liability. So you are still have to file all of those. Next question, if I will get a tax refund, am I included in July 15 deadline? Well, if you're getting a refund for 2019, you don't have to file it on July 15. You can file it anytime within 3 years. Because you're not paying the IRS, you have until 3 years to claim your tax refund. And next is who is eligible under the relief? Well, the relief covers for people filing 1040 individual, for couples married filing jointly. You are all included with that 1040. Also, it includes what? The corporation filing 1120. Estate or trust. Those are all covered with what we have mentioned regarding the extension. Okay, let's see if we have some questions. Okay. Let me just go over here. Now, those are the basic deadline filing. And now our company, why do you have to go to WYCOTAX? We are a worry-free, year-round competitive on-time tax payroll bookkeeping service solution that we are just here when you need us. And as a matter of fact, we have some promotions that ongoing right now. If you would like to file as a free tax extension, let's say you still cannot make it on July 15, we are here to file you a free extension. All you have to do is just share the next webinar. And then 10% discount if we will do your tax and bookkeeping. As help to the community, we also give 20% discount if you will avail our tax, bookkeeping, and payroll services. This is only valid April 30, 2020. But for now, just sharing the next webinar, and this is our contribution to the community, we will file you a free tax extension if you have not filed your business return or your personal return and you need more time. And also, just a reminder, if you want to qualify with your COVID-19 tax relief, economic injury loan, stimulus check, please guys, clean your books. You have to file your taxes. Just stay home and we will be here for you to get it done. Okay, so those are the questions, the presentations I have. We will now go with the questions. If you guys have questions, I'm gonna unmute everybody. And you guys can ask questions. Okay, manage participants. Unmute. Okay, there you go. All right. Where's the chat box? Does anybody have questions? You can type now and you can also, okay, there's a chat box. Okay, the first question, what is the amount of gift tax that we must file? Is there a base limit? Okay, that's a very good question. Is there a base limit? Number one, you still have to file a tax. You won't be taxed if you're giving more than $15,000 a year, $15,000,
Yeah.
you are required to file that gift tax form. But the question is, am I going to pay tax on that? The question is no, because it has to exceed more than 1 million. There's a certain time that you certain amount of money that you have to reach on giving money. But if it's $15,000 and up, you have to file the gift tax form. Thank you for that question. Next, hello, I'm a reporter with the Herald. Oh, okay. Somebody asked me about the stimulus checks. Okay, the stimulus checks, like what I've discussed before, we actually have a Facebook Live webinar with that last time. But to go over with the stimulus check, let me just pull the form, because I know this is relevant information. Okay, so this is not for the tax filing deadline, but we will go over with the stimulus check. Okay, these are the frequently asked questions on stimulus check packet. I read this last week. I'm gonna share you what my knowledge about this. Share screen. This is something new. Who among you here are using Zoom? I get used to talking in live different business organization. Now I have to deal with the navigation. Okay. Now, the frequently asked question on stimulus check, this is only as valid as early as March 30, 2020. So this is the 2 trillion relief bill. Will send my money directly to Americans. Okay, what are the stimulus payments? How large will the payments be? Okay, most adults will get 1,200, although would some get less. And if you have a dependent less than 16 years old and under for 2019, you will get an additional $500. So I have a tax table here, whether you are qualified. Okay, this one. All right. This is how they're going to issue the stimulus check. 1,200 for individual if your adjusted gross income is $75,000 or less. Okay, when we say adjusted gross income, these are the incomes coming from all sources of your job. If it's you have a full-time job, you have a part-time job, you're a photographer at night or on the weekend, all of those adjusted gross income should be $75,000. If you're single, now, if you are filing together, the adjusted gross income, your income and your partner's income should be $150,000 or less. But if you are a single parent and head of household, the adjusted gross income is what? It's higher. If you are the breadwinner, you're providing for your kids, 112,000, you're a single parent, your adjusted gross income for you to get the full amount should be less than 112,500. And $500 per child claimed as a dependent as long as they are under 16 years old. Okay, so if I have 3 kids, that's 500 times 3. So I got 1,500 plus the 1,200. Okay. Now, what if my income, what's going to happen if my income is higher? Then what's going to happen? Your income, the stimulus check, the more that your income is going up, the stimulus check is going down as this table. I can share to you this. Just message me or chat with me later if you want the copy. So for individual from 75,000 up to 99,000, if you are more than $99,000 already, you don't qualify for stimulus check. How about for married couple? the maximum is 198,000. And for the head of household, it's going to be 136,000. You no longer qualify for that stimulus check. If you own a restaurant, your income, I have a question yesterday. Christopher, I'm a business owner in a restaurant and we earn $200,000, but I have so many expenses like $150,000. Now my take-home money is 50,000. Where are they going to base it? Is it going to be based on the total gross income, or it will be based on the net? So the basis will be your income without the expenses included. Okay, so that is for the total amount. How many payments will there be? So far, it's only one payment, 1,200. That's the reason why they will base it on how did you receive your refund for 2019. That is the reason you need to update your address. You need to update your routing number, your bank number, because the IRS send it to your bank account. If you don't have a bank account that you filed for your 2019, then they will send it to your address. And make sure, if it's an apartment, make sure there's an apartment number. Okay, because I'm telling you guys, we experienced the delay. We tried to work on the change of address before. It takes 6 months and more. Wow. Okay, we answered that. How do I know if I will get the full amount? We covered that already. Do college students get anything? You can get anything if nobody claims you as a dependent. Because if you're a student and your parents are still supporting you, we have the re-resu test, relationship. If that's your parent claiming you, next is residency. If you live in Austin, you've been studying there, then you go back here to the Valley for your vacation. Your parents are still qualified to claim you as a dependent. And if your parents pay at least half of the expenses, you are not qualified to receive the stimulus check. Now, what year's income should I be looking for? They will be based on the 2019. Okay, but Christopher, I haven't filed my 2019. Then they will base it on your 2018 tax return. That's why even if you have no income, what we strongly, and this is a very smart move, if you don't have any income, as long as you have a social security number, please file your 2019 and 2018 tax return, even if it's zero income. Why? This is just because for the use of the address, for the use of the banking information to avoid delays. Like what I've said, you can do this online. If this is just basic, do it online. But if you have so many incomes, multiple source of income, that's the time you can look for a tax professional. What if my recent income made me ineligible? Okay, but I anticipate being eligible. This is what happened. This is, for example, 2019, you have a business. You made what? $200,000. So for 2019, you will not be qualified. They will not give you that stimulus check because according to them, you as a single sole proprietor, you only need to make less than 99,000. But if you made 200,000 for 2019, you're not qualified for 2019. However, for 2020, you can apply because, for example, like our situation right now that people close their businesses, they have no restaurants are closing, gym are closing, a lot of businesses are closing. So you can still apply that and you can get the credit for 2020 because the payment is technically an advance on a tax credit that is available for the entire year. So make sure when you go to your tax professional, if you have not qualified for this stimulus check for 2019, you just have to give your total income to them for 2020. Therefore, they will know that you can apply for the credit. Okay, will I have to apply to receive a payment? No, okay? Please be very careful right now. There are so many people that are taking advantage of the situation. They will call you left and right. They will send you email that they can process the stimulus check. There are no other institutions that are processing the stimulus check but the Internal Revenue Service. Don't fall, I know that everybody have a feeling of fear at this situation and people are taking advantage of that emotion. Don't give any personal information. Don't give your social security number through any form of communication. Email, telephone, avoid and refrain from those people. Okay? When will the payment arrive? So far, it will take 3 weeks. But the question is, when will they start? I don't know. Supposedly April 2, but as of this moment, I have to get back again to the IRS website to when they're going to issue the check. Now, if the payment does not come soon, how can I be sure that it was not misdirected? Well, once they send you the check, typically when they send checks, if you don't have a bank account, after 1 or 2 weeks, you will receive like a receipt from the IRS. It will tell that they send this amount of money. Now, if they receive that, if you receive the receipt of payment and you still have not received the money, then that would be the time that you have to contact the IRS. Okay, we answered this. What if I haven't filed the tax return recently? Like what I've said, they will be basing it on 2018. Now, if you still not have your 2018 tax return, then they will base it on your Social Security contribution record. This one. Social Security, retirement, and disability. Even you are disabled and you are retired, like what I have been mentioning before, even if it's zero income, you still have to file and you can still qualify for the stimulus check. Will eligible unemployed people get the stimulus payments and veterans? The answer is what? Yes, yes. How about the US citizens living abroad? Yes. If they meet the income requirements and have social security number. Is it a taxable income? The answer is no. This is not a taxable income.
Oh.
Okay, so if you get 1,200, take it. That's yours. You don't have to pay 30%. If my income tax refunds are currently being garnished because of a student loan default, will this payment be collected also? The answer is no. Actually, in fact, the bill temporarily suspends nearly all efforts to garnish tax refunds and to repay debts, including to those IRS itself. But the problem is, if you owe a child support, this will not apply. If you still owe money to the IRS because of the child support, or you owe child support to the state, they still going to take that stimulus check. Okay, so those are the basic questions I have for the stimulus check. Any more questions? All right, let's go back to
Did mom claim an income tax?
the chat box.
She gets a stimulus check as well. Yep, I'm just seeing the webinar.
Okay, chat box. All right. Okay, you are muted. Okay, let me unmute. Oh.
So tell mom not to mail.
Okay, there. I'm sorry. All are unmuted. All right, I'm sorry about that. Okay, all unmute all. Okay. All right, go ahead. Questions.
For the relief check for the COVID, what is pension or retirement considered income?
Yeah, the pension and retirement, they are passive income. This is your retirement benefit. Are they considered income? Yes, but are they taxable? No, if it's less than $25,000 in a year. But you still have to file those income.
Okay, and then going back to the gift tax, is that for money only, or does it include vehicles and homes?
It says there any form of cash, check payments.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the information. We'll be on next week. Okay. Thank you. Let me just check the other question. Okay. All right. I want to make sure that I haven't missed any questions. Guys, that would be all. And like what I've said, what the more we care is the more we share. The more we share this information, if you think somebody else's would benefit, feel free to share our presentation. And I really do appreciate that, because we are on it, in it together. Anything that the community, that we can do for the community, I think we can always give something, and that there's no other way but to help others. Okay. So if you have more specific questions about the tax and the presentation, feel free to reach us. Our office is closed, but we are virtually open. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
thank you
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
thank you and have a good day.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.